Yo, so I'm sitting here with some infamous people. But before I get into that, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Julian Keaton, culture curator, journalist, a whole nine. But the people that we're here to talk to today, some OG friends of mine, known these fellas going on 20 years now. And they just one of the coolest people to know here in the city when it comes to the music, the culture. They got their hands on anything and everything, not just in music, but in sports. And I'm glad to be able to sit with y'all. These are the Souls of Liberty.
Peace.
Man, peace. We appreciate you sitting down with us, man.
Yeah, man.
Of course.
It's been too long.
It's been a minute.
It has been a long time. Super long.
How are y'all?
Man, I'm good. We coming off of in the latest Souls of Liberty news. We had the show with Alexia Simone.
Yeah, at the City Winery.
City
It went
Winery.
really well.
Shout out to the City Winery. Shout out to Alexia. Shout out to her band. Shout out to Clever. Shout out to Julian Davis.
Yeah, the dancers and
Yeah.
everybody. Everybody
Yeah.
made it a great production.
Great production. Shout out to everybody that came. Sold over 130 tickets. Sold some merch too.
Yeah.
So
It was a good show.
I appreciate it, man.
good
Thank
show.
you for coming out.
Of
You were
course.
there. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, we planning for 2025. Kind of taking notes on what happened in 2024 and just trying to get ready for a new year.
Feel that.
Yeah.
Feel that.
Yeah, we got a lot of plans coming for the next year. Basketball season started up, so we, happy about that as well, trying to get the guys together.
Yeah.
But just living life, man, on a personal tip, and in the community. That's the only way you can live, you know what I mean? So
For real.
just family and my community, and that's me right now. That's what I'm on.
I feel that. So again, like I've known y'all for almost 20 years, and I don't even know if y'all remember, but we played each other at Herbert Hoover, Spirits and the Eagles.
Fire.
We probably was beating the fuck out of y'all. I
Yeah, I
don't know.
definitely was.
It's hard to remember them type of games.
Yeah, I definitely was. But nah, that's just a testament to how far we go back.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember even like being in the middle school and seeing you all's appreciation for music and the culture. I want to ask you all, like, has you all's love for music and the culture stayed the same over these years, or has it shifted?
Yeah, I would say I went through a period for sure where, like, obviously you fall in love with it in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? That's how some of our friendships are formed, just off our common interests. You know what I'm saying? Because we might have had some parents here and there in our households that was hip-hop, but our parents weren't a complete hip-hop generation. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were still kind of that in-between, like the Michael Jordan level, Steve Harvey age niggas. You know what I'm saying? But we were able to get it however we got it. And then at school or wherever we was at, we would bond over it and continue to share. And I think that's how I got into the culture. My big cousin, rest in peace, Pretty Russ, he went platinum with a song called, what's it called? Twisted with Keith Sweat. So being able to see that, getting off the bus and not Scullin, but Hickey and Country Grammar going on around the corner, you know what I'm saying? And walking into that and seeing that as a kid. So I feel like I naturally just growing up in the town we grew up in, we were in the culture because we were having big moments, kind of like the kids are dealing with today. They got Sexy Red. They got people come on, man, we shooting something. Sit down, chill out. That's one of the young guys. It's all good. But he in his imagination right now. But when, like I said, being those ages and interacting with hip-hop the way we did, I feel like I had that love to the point where I wanted to be a part of it in the way that I was. You know what I'm saying? And then I feel like once I started getting more into the business side of things, it took some of that love away because I got to see like a lot of the shit was food behind the scenes and what have you. So, but now I understand. I've grown as a man enough to know like my role in hip hop and what I got to do for the next generation and take the best part and lead the rest. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at with it now. Like, let's finish what we started and continue to live out our legacy, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same for me. I just feel like my just what my desire, what role I wanted to play probably just changed. I can't say that my love or affinity for it really changed really throughout the years. I've been pretty obsessed with it every year. You know what I'm saying? It was no year where I was like, I'm cool on hip hop or rap for real.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like my role and my relationship to it just changed.
Gotcha. So you all mentioned you all like fresh off of City Winery. How do you all feel like, because it was y'all first show in a minute, right?
10
it's
at
been
least 10 years
it's been
in
a
the
while.
city.
It's been a while.
Okay.
Definitely been a while. I feel good, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that we still had it, but it's like, until you show and prove, it don't mean nothing. That's why we back on this campaign, because we know what we mean to the culture. We know what we've done. The people who know, you know what I'm saying? But it's like we got to pause, put it in people's face again. You know what I'm saying? Get out in front of the culture again and show that we are a part of it in a different way. We not just, speaking. We not Charles Barkley, and then we not just, we are in a way.
Right.
We Hall of Fame, but we still could play. You know what I'm saying? We still active, and we still want to lead. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole point of us doing what we doing, in my opinion.
Draymond, we still.
Yeah, I got grades in my beard, but we still got one of the best records. Niggas can't fuck with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me it's just about adding on the other pieces. So being able to have merch and being able to show our videos and like show our growth, just like not only audibly but visually throughout the years. I feel like that was what that show really represented. It's like that's probably some stuff we've been wanting to do the whole time we were performing, and we could finally put it together, in 2024.
No, that's real. Since 2023, you all have released 2 projects, from what I'm aware of, the Death Ground record and then the 20,000 Hours, Return of the Gods. Musically, how different has you all's music changed from those 2 projects to projects of past, like Surrounded by Idiots or Brand New World and all those records? Like, how much has shifted?
Yeah. The biggest difference is that Clever just didn't produce them all. So previously Clever and we had some early mixtapes that Siege did some production on, like Blake Symphony.
Shout out to my boy Siege, man.
Certain people like that, but mostly Clever had done our prominent most albums that people know us for. Right. So 20,000 Hours was us sharing with people the relationships we built back in Chicago with like Don Rob and Oz, Jock singing, stuff like that. And then other artists and producers we wanted to work with in St. Louis, Shauna B, Ray Ray AR, Chuck English, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we Jay DeMar was on there.
Who did that
Baker
beat?
did that
Baker,
beat. Yeah,
right.
so we really just tapping back in, trying to.
That's the biggest difference.
And
then Def Ground was just somebody we still physically. I have never even said 2 words to the dude that made those beats. I just met him on Twitter, and just
like
you know what I mean, and just connected with the music. You know what I mean? Yeah. So just like the variety of people that we work with is the biggest difference. The collaboration.
And I would say the maturity, the maturation, like Surrounded. It was a big gap in between these projects. You know what I'm saying? Surrounded by Idiots, we dropped in 2018, but we really completed that project around after Mike Brown got killed.
It's like 2015, 2016.
So that really, we made that project when we was like in our early 20s, maybe 22, 23 years old. So I would say from that point, we came into the knowledge of ourselves and really grew as men. You know what I'm saying? Your brain developed fully at 25. So, we moved to Chicago. We got into the industry, even though we didn't end up putting out no projects above ground and end up getting into no situation. We got behind the scenes and start helping develop artists and learn a lot of things that we want to bring back to the city now that we home. You know what I'm saying? So I think that our trajectory, what we talking about, our perspective is a lot more aerial than say maybe we were in lower parts of ourselves still in those early stages, was surrounded by idiots trying to figure things out. Not to say we wasn't still in a righteous place and doing the best we could, but we didn't understand the way we do now. So I think that's the biggest thing, is the content.
Yeah. Let's touch on Chicago. I know y'all was up there for a little while. I think you're still kind of up there part-time to an extent. You all want to kind of share your experience a little bit more in depth on like what you learned, what you got into, what you valued there that you bring back. And I think also y'all kind of came back like during COVID, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
So how
the world ended, we came home.
How did that kind of shift things coming back during that period as well?
Yeah. Well, the situation that we were in, shout out to Peasy. We met L Peasy in Chicago through one of our homies, Joel, who was like a designer in Chicago. And we at the time we were just really trying to get our music mixed. So we were trying to get Surrounded by Idiots, right?
Yeah, that's how we still got it
mixed. We
were
trying to get Surrounded by Idiots mixed. Peasy ended up mixing it with a couple other like engineers and stuff like that or whatever. And then we just built a real friendship and bond over the music with him. And he was going to basically create his own label and reopen his studio. And he basically just asked us to help him manage it and kind of create the label and the studio situation. Oh. Not as artists, but behind the scenes or whatever. Because he saw that we had the propensity to kind of like utilize more than just like our music or whatever. And so that just kind of we had never spent time in the studio in St. Louis. So it was like the studio hours that we probably would have gotten here. We just really got it there. So like just the networking, meeting artists that signed, the unsigned hot artists, the girls, the guys, the this, the that, the old, the new,
we
the
was
producers,
in the mix.
like everything that was going on in Chicago hip hop for the pretty much we had like a front row view of.
Yeah, that was when Chicago was like popping.
Yeah, that's when
Yeah.
drill was like,
It took that was the second wave, I would say, because it was just like Kanye had came back home during that time. Bum J had got out,
Chance
like you
was
said.
big as he was.
Yeah,
Chance
Chance
peaked, I guess,
3.
at that time.
Yeah, Chance 3. But then even people like being able to watch Joe Fresh Goods,
You know
what I
took
mean?
off during that time.
Yeah, watching like just it's a whole bunch of stuff that was going on that like really just gave us the proper perspective, and just being able to watch a industry. You know what I'm saying? It's not the industry, but it's a industry for sure.
Yeah.
And it just gave us perspective on what St. Louis has and doesn't have. And so, it's hundreds of people I'm sure that we could name that we met that play roles
my
with
boy
us.
Dez, you know what I'm saying?
It's so many
Seeing Joe
people
Fresh
there.
Goods and all them doing their thing, like it was a lot going on.
But those hours in the studio, like I said, we kind of learned everything. Like we saw artists get signed, we saw artists get dropped, we saw artists put out albums and take off, we saw people put out their single, drop videos.
We got to see Juice WRLD,
have beefs,
all of that shit.
like everything that could happen in rap kinda, we got to really see it. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was just like a chapter for us. Like we went into it thinking that we were gonna conquer it musically, like through our raps, and we really ended up doing it like with our mind. In a different type of way that we weren't prepared to do at all. Like we didn't have anybody telling us.
When we set off on a journey, that's not what we thought was gonna happen.
Yeah, but we just kind of trusted.
We kind of went with the flow
and just trusted ourselves that like we'll come out on the other side of it.
And so it did end up making us better artists. And I feel like Chicago is like a second home. You know what I'm saying? Like I damn near got more people I fuck with in Chicago than I do in St. Louis, and I'm from here. You know what I'm saying? To the amount of people that was holding us down and really believing in our talent. And not to say it's not like that here too, but I think it's just more people out there. So
interested in the culture. It's more. It's like that was the first time we got to be around niggas like
in the culture.
But no, I got a real 50-year-old homie that I'm with, that I'm politicking with, that's helping me.
That really
that's
got knowledge of self. That's guiding us.
Rapping or making beats. Like I met multiple people that was like legit older than me.
Yeah.
That like I don't get to interact with in the same way here in St. Louis. And not that they don't exist, but people just kind of move around different. They move around longer in Chicago.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that was probably the most profound thing. It's just to have people 50, 40. And I wasn't 30 in Chicago in their 30s. That was like looking out for me, talking to me, believing in what we got going on.
In all walks of life, from gang members to corporate niggas to, you know what I'm saying, the professional ball players to like, it just was a lot more enterprise going on out there. A lot more people, just a different level of civilization. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they a tier 1 city and we're a tier 2 city that used to be a tier 1 city that's trying to get back there now.
Right.
But yeah, Chicago definitely, it'll definitely be a chapter of my life that I could never overlook. You know, for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What are some looking at that? I kind of want to touch on St. Louis music, culture, hip hop. What are y'all's perspective on where the city is now?
I think that St. Louis is kind of at a blank slate kind of a place. I think that the reign or the shadow of like Nelly and the Lunatics is finally gone. I feel like for people that were older, that really just was a shadow. That's the best way I can say. Like they were so big that it just was like, and some of it people put on them, but some of it just was like the truth of the matter. It just was like, bro, this is something that we could never imagine.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It will never happen again. It was that big of a moment, and so now I just kind of feel like it's reimagining itself. I don't really think that it has a particular direction that it's going in, but I think that this is like the next few years of people reimagining it and trying to build whatever the next thing is. I don't know what that is.
I think it's still, we've always had, St. Louis is so talented that whenever somebody from St. Louis gets an opportunity, we be like damn near the biggest motherfuckers. And what ends up happening is them the only people that had the opportunity. And people who don't have those opportunities because we don't have an industry here, we really look to or complain online about the people who make it that could shed a lot of light here that don't. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it kind of just is what it is, because that might not be that, you know, everybody look at Metro Boomin and he just a producer and shit. Maybe he don't understand how to put St. Louis in a different place, but he repping St. Louis. And so I think right now we just got to focus on that part. We do got people that's out here repping, but the people is still people. The recognition, the brand recognition is there, but we still got to come together and be able to do business on a grassroots level
at home.
And with the black population leaving the city now, it is gonna make it interesting to see how that's gonna go with our generation, because it's kind of on our generation now. It ain't kind of, it is.
Right.
And so it comes down to, like, can people like us create some type of business infrastructure or something to help these next generation of young talented people make it out of St. Louis? Right. Because the only people in St. Louis that made it have made it from outside of here.
Well, that brings an interesting point, because then we start to look at, like, who is popular in the space and in the culture right now that's from here. You know, we got Sexy, we got Metro, we got Smee, we got Jordan Ward. I mean, there's a long list of folks.
It's a lot of people. Actually.
It's a lot. I mean, and even then, the list is probably just as long behind the scenes that are in our positions.
For sure.
That are, you know. So it's like, what do you think realistically, like, those next steps could be? Seeing that you all kind of seen it in Chicago, what do you think we as a city could start doing to be more proactive?
It's simple. It's what we did. It's move back. Come on. It's not even that deep.
We not here. They not here to do nothing.
It's just not even that deep. Even
like
Sexy being here. Sexy be at Fat Buddha. Like, she be at the studio. Like, she's the only person that, like, still makes shit.
Still tapped in.
She may get it Sexy here in St. Louis. Like,
yeah, so that's really what it is. Is like, we gotta take pride in being from St. Louis again.
And that's why she the biggest. Like, you think about it. Like, she been out way longer than Metro. Right. But at a drop of a dime, even with some friends, and maybe he could have did Shay Fits, I'm sure. Like, if he just would have really tried, you know what I'm saying?
It might have been a last minute idea.
She can really just be like, no, I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the biggest thing.
And
it's
the
like,
relationship
people
to
just
the
gotta
city.
Come back.
Like you say, like I said, they made it outside of her. Even Sexy, to a certain degree, she popped and did what she did. She from here. But a lot of people, since they don't make it here, their relationship to what they doing is just not here. If I got on making shit with Gucci and Future, Metro probably feel like, let me just keep doing that shit because I'm getting rich doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he not thinking about, oh, well, how can I? Because he never lived here like that. Mm-hmm. Especially as an adult, I don't know his whole history. I know his high school and shit like that. Right. But that's not here. You know what I'm saying? So I think even with Jordan Ward, it's just like, you know what I mean? All their success is from what they was doing somewhere else. Right. So they got love for city. They were the city. They proud to be from here. But like you said, we're not turning out. We don't have a farm system. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what we got to work on.
Far in between, where we'll see like Sexy collab with Blake Yana, but you don't really see too many since these folks have blown up like a Jordan. You don't really see Jordan collab with St. Louis folks.
Mm-hmm. And he did do the collab like with Profield.
Right.
And
I'm not saying that they don't.
No. But I'm just saying, like, to his point, both of what y'all saying, like, it's different ways that you can do it. Like, you don't have to be here. So even to that point, it's like, you know, he'll do he even shot the videos here. Right. So the project that really put him on the map, if you watch the videos, you watch in St. Louis. Right. And then even my dude online, Leonardo Chop, the designer or whatever, who do like a lot of scissor stuff, he did the Boominati stuff for, you know, Metro. So it's like he not here, but he worked with the St. Louis niggas. So it's like,
and it come down to people's power and influence too. Like, everybody don't got that level of influence. If just because motherfuckers here don't understand business, if I got a deal, that really don't mean shit. I'm just a little more famous than y'all. Y'all like me and shit. I got some cool shit going, but I'm not fucking Berry Gordy or no shit. Like, I can't, you know what I'm saying, change, and that's what we need. Right. That's what our goal is. We want to be on some Berry Gordy shit to where it's like, nah, this shit is made, packaged here, and we taking it out to where, like you said, you can live here on a day-to-day basis and it means something. Right. You know, people in Atlanta that's from Atlanta, they want to be in Atlanta. They still doing shit in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't know.
I don't know what that is. Was, niggas is doing construction and shit. But that's the biggest thing. Like, to what you was saying, it's not that niggas don't be repping here that's from here. Right. But if you not living here and your life is not based here, you not gonna be tapped into what's going on here that much. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it also brings up a very interesting point that you all touched that is super relevant. It's the economics of it all. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
for sure.
we look at Chicago or LA, Atlanta, Miami. Those are big populated cities. Yeah. Or like, not saying that St. Louis not, because I think it's like what 2 million throughout the entire metro region.
But what you saying is right there.
You know,
It's technically St. Louis City is more densely populated than Atlanta.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's more people here.
But it's how they carry and the ability for things to pop from there. Like I think about all the time. I listen to LA Foes a lot. Like he locked up right now, Free Foes. You know what I'm saying? But like he an artist where it's like this nigga could be one of the biggest niggas in the country, talent wise, in my opinion. And I feel like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm very qualified to make those judgments.
I had the trajectory for it too.
Yeah, but it's one of them things where it's like, well, now I got to go to Atlanta and be with an older St. Louis nigga that might make me want to kill him or something or whatever going on. I don't know, their personal business.
Right.
But it's just like if in Chicago the difference is no ID got him there, boom, it's happening. That's what we don't have here.
Right.
Even if it's not a thing where it's like it's coming from here and something crack from here. But it would be nice for us, like if you got the hottest record in New York, like we realized when we was out there, if we was from Chicago, we would have been on. It's not enough people actively to like push something.
But to that point,
to the next level here.
It was the previous factions, so nothing really materialized from Dirty ENT that we at St. Louis since like we was around.
Yeah.
So we would have saw it.
Yeah.
Nothing materialized from Chingy and them group.
And it was infighting. Nelly and Chingy was beefing. Like that's real shit. We wasn't together.
So
we
I think
get
maybe
real
that's
arrogant.
the answer to like the next part. Is like at least us having the camaraderie
Yeah.
of just being together.
And
that would probably end up being better. You know what I'm saying? At least in the end.
And now we a part of something. We at a point now where I feel very strongly about our talent and shit like that. Things happen. We one TikTok away from now our whole scene and shit that we've been a part of for a long time. Nobody from our scene has went up.
Right.
Niggas have got on, come back and used our scene for the look or interacted with the scene.
Right.
But that's really the thing. Like nobody from our scene in particular, if Mastermind had a #1 record, all our life gonna be different. Cause we associated with what was going on at that time. If the Souls, if Hood Rich that's coming out soon, if Hood Rich go up and Sexy Red get on Hood Rich, which is what we want to happen.
Right.
If she do something like that, that's gonna change everything. Cause now the people who are really that's been rotating inside circles and really built real relationships with people can now empower the right people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's really what it's going to take is like, whereas like the one artist alone that wasn't tapped in, and even like shout out to Nando, you know what I'm saying? Like he got his own situation, but he might not be in a point where, okay, well now we can just, because I'm on, I could put on everybody. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's got to make sense.
Yeah, it just got to make sense.
Well, then let's shift gears a little bit from like locale economics to the industry economics, right? So we've seen what Nipsey did when they came to direct to consumer over the years, and that really kind of being a trend right now.
Right.
You know, what do you think will really shift for folks like you, independent artists, when it comes to possibly considering a more direct to consumer approach versus going the traditional music business route, which is the label route or et cetera?
I think that for us, the direct to consumer is more world building. So even like doing this interview and the content that we've been trying to make and get off the ground and stuff like that, I think for us it's like we're more of a like intellectual property hub. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Tanel could sit here and think of like any kind of movie, TV show, like media in that kind of way. And now we're starting to get into selling more physical products and stuff like that. So I think that like to answer like with Nip, like I want you able to come to like our website and it's like Netflix. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like, damn, I can listen to the songs. We might at some point, I'm sure we're gonna have a book, you know what I'm saying, at some point, whether it's be like coaching 101, marketing, XYZ, like you could really come to the store and get everything that you need from us. You know what I mean? Whether it be like what I'm trying to build like with radio and music discovery still, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's like I said, even like I said, these contents, we trying to expose people to more than just our ideas on over beats, you know? And like, I feel like with Nip, like you said, he looked at his music and he could position that in a certain way based on where he was. The internet now is like, you could be a streamer from wherever and use the internet to create a narrative around yourself that then you can manipulate for whatever you're trying to do. Right. And I think that that's something St. Louis struggles with is like our narrative is just shitty. You know what I'm saying? People just think of our narrative and think of just hood shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't get like both sides. Like you can think of like Chicago, it could be crazy niggas, but then you can have Kanye. You know what I'm saying? You could be crazy niggas, and then you got leaders. You know what I'm saying? You could be this, you could be that. In St. Louis, it's only like
It's
you
a
could
monolith.
be this.
Yeah.
There's no that. And I feel like that's how we're.
Do you feel like the media plays a role in that?
No, I feel like the city's function, how it plays a role in it.
Yeah, our
I went to
school
the
systems.
city schools, and now you can barely send your kids there. So that's got more of the narrative that we've had to create because we just been on the most dangerous list.
And to your point, that's what you see in the community. You know what I'm saying? Like Nipsey was interesting because he represented all of that. Where he was like this man who was living a life of savagery that cleaned himself up and refined himself to a point where he could have a business. And when he got killed, we was on his music, but we know the masses for the outcry of his death wasn't just riding around to that shit like we was. You know what I'm saying? So it shows that his impact and what he was doing as a man is what's important. And that's, I think, what we lose in hip hop, and what we trying to get back to is the essence of that.
Hip hop was made to build us up.
It's
not made to break us down.
It's about knowledge. You know what I'm saying? It's about showing and proving you continually to elevate. And so, you know, we talk about, shout out to Rex and Threads, my homie Born. Preem, he got this space that we in right now, but it's about creating, like I said, our own world, our own economy, all those things. That's what hip hop has really done. Right. It's made people level up their mind, their lifestyle, their quality of living, generational wealth, all those things. And I think as we continue to grow as men, we go from being good men to great men. We're gonna be. That's hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, and that light, that the beacon of light shining the hoves of the world. We could name a lot of them, but that's what they did. Is like, they from the projects, they from here, and now it's here.
Well, I think, and let me kind of take a step back, and bring a quote, and then kind of bring it back and tie it all together. So I forget which OG hip hop artist said that hip hop is like the CNN of the hood, of the streets, right? You know, then to put it in perspective, you know, when I mention media, I'm saying it from a perspective of like, we look at the media platforms that are more independent, not necessarily like the mainstreams, Fox, KSDKs, but like we look like the Blancos, for an example, that might only highlight St. Louis culture in a certain light, and then project it to the world as that's all of what St. Louis is. Do you think that we should take more ownership and control in that narrative?
I think that I understand what you're saying now. I think that the people on like St. Louis is split up between kind of like the cool kids and the hood kids.
Right.
That's really how people take it.
There's a lot more hood kids.
But it's like the cool kids have to, if they want the hood kids recognition, they have to make something that the hood kids are going to listen to.
True.
One.
Or get some fucking money.
But even if they get some money, you still doing that, still not gonna make them respect it and listen to it. You know what I'm saying? It might help them seem more approachable. The question is,
why do we gravitate to it so hard?
No, but hold on, this is what I was gonna say. But I don't think that the cool kids are working hard enough. I don't think that they're making anything that is hot enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, we already know that like sex and violence sell. So if you're just kind of doing something sexy or something violent, it's gonna sell more than if you're not. So since you're not doing that, then you have to do something so hot for motherfuckers to fuck with it. And I feel like that's something that's lost on the cool kid side, is that like, you gotta get hotter. It's not that hot. The activity of you being an artist and being out and having shows and doing stuff like that, that's one part of it. That's great. Yeah. And the hood artists like that. They would love to go to the dark room and do a show. They would love to get in the pro field and get a different kind of audience and go to Soviets and do the XYZ, right? But then on the flip side of that, I don't see us working hard enough to make them participants. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we get stuck in like, oh, well, this group of friends, my group of friends, and then we're just kind of sharing it amongst ourselves. Groups. But then, like you said, but there is a level of frustration that there's not more popular or more recognized in the city. And so that's why I'm saying is like, I think that's the difference. Is like, we got to do something that make Blanco want to do that. We did Watching with Rimrod. That was the first time I ever even heard the dude. But I'm sure he's exposed because he's watching Rimrod, seeing what he's doing. He's seeing that we had Shauna B on it. You know what I'm saying? Which would technically, if you want to look at it a certain kind of way, it's us kind of cross-collaborating and even using Ray Ray and AR the way we did. Right. So that's what I'm saying. And that shit was hotter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why I'm just like,
and we trying to change that narrative. But I think like the narrative is there for a reason. Like it's truth to the narrative. And like you said, the violence and all that shit is what's going to sell more than the peace and positivity. But like you said, We not promoting the peace and positivity on the highest level. And also people, even the people who are quote unquote good people or whatever the case may be,
Like
y'all
hood shit.
attracted to that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we like them. We follow in St. Louis. The problem to me is just from growing up here, is people gravitate towards the most ignorant of us. Even we was in decent schools, you know what I'm saying? Schools where most of the people had parents and was there on purpose. You know what I'm saying? We might have been some of the hood babies that slipped through the cracks and shit. You know what I'm saying? But overall, them women couldn't wait to leave there to go see the ignorant, crazy ass niggas. That is just what be going on.
Yeah.
And now with social media being the way it is, with me being in the schools, they don't know the difference. They look at that as just normal. Even if you a good kid that's out in the West County and all that shit, you're just dressing like a drill rapper or a nigga who you look like somebody who might shoot somebody.
Right.
And we've always had that in hip hop. It's not new.
Right.
I think it's just getting worse. Because, like you said, the
rappers aren't
the
rappers.
institutions aren't the best. Yeah, they're criminals.
They're
The
criminals.
criminals used to fund the rappers.
And like us being in Chicago, we know that for sure. Y'all are not rappers. Like y'all have popular rap songs.
Right.
But it's like when you talk about like a rapper, I'm in the studio, I'm really focused on music. Like Big Sean is a rapper.
They not musicians.
You know what I'm
you could
saying?
be a street nigga and a musician,
Right.
but you at least had to be a musician.
Right.
To get a record deal. Now it's just like he killed a few niggas. He went to jail. This nigga get out. Now he famous. He don't even know why the fuck. But so he gonna go make some song. And that if that keep continuing, you know. But Kendrick is actually. That's why I feel like it's a good time for us to be back too, because it's a shift now. In my opinion, I'm starting to see it.
I'm happy you brought that up because that was actually my next question.
Psychic.
Like we're months out since that whole Kendrick Drake situation.
Rest in peace, Drake.
How do
I go messing up our feature now, but go ahead.
Culturally, what does that look like for hip hop? You know, seeing that we're starting to see that shift back to it being purely like hip hop, folks getting back to rapping. What does that look like for that shift?
I mean, I feel like the real ones always knew what was up. What I like about this is that I feel like the youth are getting a chance for the first time to see real rap. Like if you just wasn't already into Kendrick Lamar, he popped the bubble of fakeness. You know what I'm saying? Like we really were dealing with, and that has changed the music too. Like if Drake would have just instead of at a certain point in his career been like, I'm gonna go more backpack and do shit the way was inspired to do, or what I have the talent to do. He decided like, no, I'm gonna become a street nigga.
Make the hood kids.
I'm gonna do a hood caricature of blackness and what have you, and just do this. And so he took it to a whole different level in terms of his level, his platform. And so for Kendrick at his platform to kill this nigga finally at his platform, and it's clear as day like this shit fake. If you even, you know what I'm saying, or it's been exposed. He's been compromised.
It's been exposed.
And so it's like, oh, the real shit never left. It just, people were confused.
Yeah.
People just wasn't buying it.
The truth don't never like the truth gonna always be there. It's just people might perceive it differently, or it might be great propaganda during a certain time where niggas didn't realize the truth.
Right.
But it didn't change the truth.
Right.
And that's how I feel about it. Like, and that's why I'm happy. Like, grassroots life still work. All this social media and shit's like, I feel like we at a point where it's getting back to where it's like, oh, life is life. It's different tools, it's different mediums, it's different things that's going on, different trends. But if you gonna do life right and exact, you still gonna have success. It might take longer.
Yeah.
We might be dead, and then Souls Liberty might be studied in the next 22,000 years, and they be watching this shit, walking around this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's not up to us. We can't control the results always, and I think that's the thing too. The way K-Dot approaches shit is just like, he really being an artist. Motherfucker was fucking with him, throwing rocks at the window. He finally came outside, whooped his ass in front of everybody. You know?
Yeah, I think that he ended, and the stuff that was going on like with the street rappers, like that reign of just like he said, non-rappers kind of being the bigger rappers. I think that kind of ended because it's like the hottest rappers now is all women.
Yeah.
And that's just not, and that's
That
just like a
changed a lot,
completely
too.
new thing. So
Yeah.
to me, it's hard to say that like, cause the independent niggas who was rapping hard never stopped.
Yeah.
They just wasn't popular. But it's like if niggas who's listening to Earl Sweatshirt, or niggas who's listening to Blue Navy, or niggas who's listening, all that shit has been out there. Westside Gun and them, they been out. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, a lot of that is also the industry.
This is the industry.
industry,
so that's
and
what I'm
it's the
saying.
market.
So it's like that's I guess what I'm kind of saying. It's like to what he's saying. It's like it's always been there. Maybe now it's getting a little bit more exposure. Maybe now people are appreciating it a little bit more. But to me, I wonder like where's the synergy between it just being male and female artists kind of popping at the same time again.
Yeah.
Like this is like now this is the most traction I feel like women have had, and these artists aren't going anywhere.
Well, to that,
You know what I mean? Like the big women artists aren't going anywhere.
that's because they not getting killed too. That's a big
Right.
part. That's, you know what I'm saying, with this, with it being in that negative trajectory, that lower self, the vibration of music, we've lost
Because
50 artists. You know what I'm saying, between
like,
drugs
Juice
and
WRLD
goddamn
should be Juice
bullets.
WRLD would be a bigger artist now.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a street artist.
Extentacion.
Triple X would have been one. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like Mac Miller would have been another one to where it's like, who knows with their influence and their sound, the opportunities that they would have got, where it would have took male rap. You know what I'm saying? And so now it's just like,
And the litany of street niggas, Dolph, all these different people, bro. There's a lot of great rappers that was popping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, that generation that kind of died off.
yeah.
And now we at the age where it's like, it ain't really no street niggas rapping our age. Well, Drake, I guess, is a little older than
Lil
us.
Durk-
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Lil Durk just went to jail.
Yeah, then that's the thing too. So you talk about the media. It's like in real life, we're starting to see people crash out.
Yeah.
And the consequences to what this was. And I think that's gonna make way for more consciousness as well, because it's like, okay, well now, let's say we 40 now. We fast forward, a little bit, and we 40. How long are y'all gonna keep acting like y'all did in high school and college and shit?
All right.
Because that's why the environment is created for the kids to be how they are now.
Yeah.
We drill music started, we was 21 and shit. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, how long are y'all gonna be kids before we like, this is kind of real stupid that we do this. You know what I'm saying?
And then it's also interesting, like, if we put into perspective, like Trump getting back into office and like what he's proposing when it comes to regulating and just kind of being more intentional around crime and criminality, and like what does that look like for hip hop, especially when we talk about
All these Ricos.
a rapper is kind of still kind of playing in the street. Like I think that might have an impact as well.
Yeah.
That's when we talk about the separation of states, so to speak, because it used to be you was going out to get the bag and you represented this crew of niggas that was getting money in the streets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
mean,
Instead of
or,
being
like you said,
the
but
head of the goddamn gang.
But the government kind of created the communities for the rap to grow with the projects.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like low income housing created rap for the most part.
Yeah.
If you think about it that way, I don't think that it would have went the same if everybody had their own individual house. It's a reason that it happened in the Bronx more and not Queens. When you think about it that way, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, yeah, that like to that point, what era of hip hop is this government going to create?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what he's saying. If those little kids, Chief Keef and them, like we was 21, we didn't create drill. Everybody our age still raps.
We was
regular.
partying. We was trying to.
But what I'm saying that to say is like Chief Keef and them are the real first little kids with No Child Left Behind. You know what I'm saying? We was almost out of school when No Child Left Behind started.
Yeah.
True.
They were just starting school. So then that time they were in the school and they were the craziest niggas ever.
And that's
You know what I'm saying?
also
It was like,
gentrification happened in all them places at that time too. You know what I'm saying? We caught the tail end of that when we was in Chicago and watched Bronzeville and these traditionally black places that had grassroots. Like we've seen success before. We've seen the renaissances. We've done the knowledge on all these things, and it's just like it could be done again. But the thing is it going to be sustained?
will it be cyclical?
Is
like
it
you said?
generational? Like, can we pass it down to the next generation? Because that's what I think the disconnect is. And you talk about that being here. What can we do in our generation that our kids can carry on in a legacy, or carry on our legacy?
What can we own? Because that's
And
the
we
problem.
haven't had no black music really do that. Like we had ragtime, then we had jazz, then we had hip hop, then we had R&B. This is the longest we've gone.
I guess you
But
could
what
say-
we gonna do now?
I guess you could say hip hop and R&B has. Because
Yeah,
R&B
it's the
has been here the
longest.
whole time, but it's
But it
like-
hasn't been. I'm saying we haven't from that been able to flip into being a functional people, because that was the purpose of hip hop. That's what it come from.
Right.
It come from the conscious community. It come from Malcolm X and all that shit. That shit is interconnected. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we start slipping out of the message of hip hop and what it was really about in the communal aspects of it, and we let people get in and monetize that and pimp us out or whatever the case may be. Now it's like, can we do some grassroots again and build our own platforms to where we have some control, some censorship? People complain a lot about that. We don't own the shit.
Right.
But it's our whole thing.
Yeah.
So,
True.
yeah, man, getting deep. But
No, seeing that you work with the youth and having firsthand experiences dealing with them as a coach and whatnot, what do you see from the youth and how they appreciate culture? Like, what does that look like? What does it look like from your from your
I
vantage
would
point?
say like they still like good music. Like Kanye still is the same. People they looking at Kanye the way we looked at Kanye. The best, the greatest people are still the greatest people. But I think they definitely have a different relationship to reality because of the time in which they've grown up in and the things that they've seen and the things that people are capable of doing and not being able to see beyond the physical when they come to that. You really can have a good TikTok or have some skits and now you rich and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing so yeah, they similar to us, but I don't think they understand real life as much, if that makes sense, because they live such a virtual reality. They kind of out of touch with reality. A lot of kids because they behind screens. They not interacting in real life. They not rubbing elbows. They not catching the lead bus downtown and you know what I'm saying? It's just like they live in a different, more sheltered life. And then you got other kids who are outside, but they still doing it for the online shit too. So everybody is like, you know what I'm saying? It's like they live in two lives.
Yeah.
And so I think it changes how they interact with the things they love because they don't. It's not as from. They not just genuinely being kids no more. It's in the way that I feel like we were.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like we really loved Kanye. It wasn't no incentive. It wasn't nothing we could get online from it.
Yeah.
That's some dopamine. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you was in Wellston listening to shit you listened to. You was in Walnut Park listening to shit. You know what I'm saying? We was just listening to the shit.
Yeah.
And then when we finally got to the age to come outside, then we met our community and we built it from there. Whereas they already got their communities configured or trying to figure out what communities they fit into before they start being a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could put it. But they still attracted to it. That's why I feel like I had an influence that I do because I'm hip hop. So when they see me, they don't see like, oh, he's just an adult. He finna tell me what to do. It's like, oh, he a real nigga. But he also is got something going mentally and is really here guiding me and giving me confidence. And that's what I'm doing when I'm dealing with the youth is giving them confidence and helping them see what the truth is and find themselves so they can properly interact with the things that they naturally love. Because it's the same shit that we love, you know?
Got you.
That's peace.
For as long as I've known you all, especially like as you all been like creating and making music, you've all always branded SBI, right? Creating that world building that you brought up. I'd love for you to share your inspiration and motivation around ESCO.
Probably a combination of Pharrell, Kanye, and Virgil. Again, being in Chicago, like I got to see Virgil and Joe Fresh Goods, I would say. Those four people. And really Joe and Virgil because they really had an emphasis on their hometown. Like it wasn't nothing that Virgil was doing that he wouldn't try to make an emphasis to come back to Chicago and do. And he was from the suburbs, you know what I'm saying? But he knew how important that was. And he knew how important it was to like pour into like young people too, trying to figure out who it is and what it is that they wanted to do and what role they wanted to play. So for me, like those people inspire me. And so I'm kind of just trying to be that for other people, really. I mean, like he said, we do have ideas of like business and infrastructure that we want to build. You know, we're our only real measures of success. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not looking at it like, if I don't make $1 million, I'm not successful. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I technically know how to make $1 million doing or selling something based off like the knowledge that I've acquired throughout the years. And even the wisdom now that I've been able to apply, if not directly into like ESCO or Social Liberty or SBI and other facets of my life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, I'm just kind of at that point to where like, yeah, like I want to be able to like have something and then when I'm gone, people can still like follow it. Cause like that's something that Virgil did for me is like, he left like a blueprint. He literally left a blueprint on how to do it. It's like, it's no secrets. So it's like when you take away the ad, like when you just make knowledge born and you make it available for people, then it's like they don't really have any excuses. And the people who really want to do it, you give them the opportunity to do it. And I feel like tying it back to St. Louis, it was too hard to figure out how to rap here growing up. Like it was just too hard. For it to have the biggest rapper in the world it was like, damn, where the fuck do I go? Like, what's the studio? I heard of Suburban Pro. I kind of had heard of Fat Buddha, but it wasn't no culture around it. Versus like when I was in Chicago, like you said, damn, Classic. Classic was very approachable. Could have been done. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like the most high tech place. It was just like a studio, and it had something to it. So I think just giving people that space to be like, oh, I know I could come up there and fuck with Esco and Janelle and them, and I could get some shit done.
Yeah.
That's kind of
institution.
enough for me. Yeah.
Educate self, cultivate others. That's what the acronym stand for, and that's what life is about. Especially as black men, you got to each one teach one, and that's really what it is. And if we could do that, like I said, we want to be, we long term, we want to be able to house culture. Like you said, all our shit is about intellectual property. Whether other people, black people have, that's the only real advantage we have. Is our
Imagination.
IP. The way we put our shirt on, the way our women dress, the way this, that, and the third. That's an entire community's dressed like our black women. I ain't gonna get into, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like people be taking our sauce. What if we start vertically integrating our shit? Mm-hmm. What if we start, you know what I'm saying, having some ethno aggregation to the point where we can ship that out to other people and get the money off of that because everybody else getting the money off our back. Mm-hmm. And that's our country. Yeah. So we just trying to break that cycle, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I look at educate, self-cultivate others. It's like, damn, we, like you said, creating that opportunity. Mm-hmm. More people gonna go to the NBA now because Jason Tatum in the league, and he really coming back, to your point, and he building the gyms and shit in the hood and doing that certain shit. And it's like, that's intentional. Yeah. And that's having an impact. People might be like, oh, he should do more. But if you trying to do what he doing, you go to Woes. Yeah. Take your ass over there.
Take your ass up there and hoop.
Take your ass over to Matthew Dickey, another great black man, God bless the dead. You know what I'm saying? That started something to give people an opportunity, and that's all we missing in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. The talent is there. Yeah. Niggas just don't got no opportunity. The kids don't got nowhere to go. They downtown. They looking for a lick or whatever because it ain't nowhere for them to go do nothing positive in real life. If it was a studio where it was like, hey, if your grade's good, you get free studio time. You know what I'm saying? That shit don't exist. And we just want to be one of them people who's like, oh, we created something for people that are like-minded, not just black. You know what I'm saying? That have an original mindset where you could come and be a part of something and cultivate yourself and grow because nobody get there alone. Yeah. Right. You know what I'm saying? Nobody get there alone. Everybody else is giving their kids tools. I was at Busch Stadium talking to one kid, and he was talking about South County Tech. He about to start making $300,000 after his apprenticeship from doing welding. Why we not welding at North County Tech like that? I'm not saying I'm gonna be at North County Tech, but I ain't met too many black kids that's gonna do that.
Right.
And these the same type of people. These not rich ass white people or, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like that opportunity here is why we under the street act. Mm-hmm. Cause that's what niggas they see that got the money. They don't see the engineers.
Right.
They don't know the people we went to school with that's doing good things and stuff like that. Right. And you know, until we start marketing that more, we gonna be in the same spot.
What does legacy look like for you all? Like if 20, 30 years from now, God bless, we transition, you know, what's the legacy that you all want people to see when they think about Ryan, Tanel, Souls of Liberty? What's the legacy?
That we was the best. I don't really. Yeah, that was it. I mean, I don't rap for fun.
Yeah, that was the point. That was kind of why we started. We started rapping because rapping was so bad we felt. You know what I'm saying? Well, we represent the Surrounded by Idiots
Soulja
thing.
Boy. It was Soulja Boy.
Yeah, shout out to Soulja Boy, bro.
So like,
and I ain't gonna act like I didn't have his shit on my Bebo. You know what I'm saying? Hoes like Soulja Boy. You know what I'm saying? That was the time.
Well, we just felt like that wasn't the full representation.
That ain't the full picture. Right? We feel that same way in St. Louis. Like, you could be a hood baby and be hella smart.
Yeah.
I get my master's in May. I'm applying for my doctorate just for the babies. I don't even like school like that.
But it's just like that pedigree.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that pedigree, like when you think about Mobb Deep, The Lox, like when you say like certain rappers, it's like, that's rap. You know what I'm saying? You say a certain singer, you be like, that's a vocalist, that's a pianist. Like I want people to like, when we say Souls of Liberty, be like, damn. Yeah, them niggas was going hard. Like they was just they had some type beats. They was saying some real shit. It just was like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, cause all the other stuff is like. Now I did hear some real shit. I thought Mike Tyson did say that he just was like, you know, legacy. You know, people talk about me when I'm dead. That should show ego. You just want that. But it don't matter now. He was like, I did it. Like it's, and I feel that because it's like you could rest on your laurels. Like he could still be thinking about himself being a champion, but he like that will block him from being the next thing that he's supposed to be.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know how long I'm gonna exactly do all the stuff that I'm doing, but it's like when I'm doing something else in the physical, non-physical, it's just like I'm on to the next thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
I always say like even with the coaching, like it's bigger than basketball. We doing this, like you said, it's not for obviously everybody want power and different things because that's good to have too. I'm not gonna downplay that we don't want to be successful and be great in those ways, but what can we show and prove to inspire the next people?
Yeah.
Because we need more of us. You know what I'm saying? It's not that many. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like Hove, these different people, Kanye, we was talking about earlier, it's like these people that we've been chasing because they look like us, they come from backgrounds that we come from, and they showing and proving. Whether they have flaws, whether they haven't, we learning from them. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to be the type of person that people could look to and feel like, damn, this attainable for me to continue to walk forward on my journey because if he was able to take it, if they was able to be these type of hip-hop niggas in a place where nobody really fuck with hip-hop for real and no nigga that was ever got out of here on some rapping shit, we don't got no J. Coles.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And all our rappity niggas got to sing with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think people look at me and Jordan as like MCs. But on the end of the MC act, like you said, we going crazy, but I want to be like Kareem where it's like, and LeBron where it's like my off-the-court shit though is crazy. My out the booth game is, you know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas can't see me inside the booth, but outside the booth as a man.
He was really going. He's doing some real
You know
shit.
what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we under the Malcolm X, we under the Martin Luther King, all the great black men that can come before us. I want us to be seen intellectually in that light.
And I think, so, as the, high quality is being the best, the inspiration. But then I would say, I think we both agree on, like, just the togetherness. Like,
our
watching
friendship.
the Lunatics break up and watching all that other stuff, like, as a fan, it is disheartening. And like you said, all the groups in rap at some point in time have to have that period. So I think that, if anything, if we could inspire people to know that it's, like, it's worth building with a group of people, having family, and, like, just doing, like, going hard for that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need a million people to support you in order for you to, like, put the work in. Yeah. So if we can like let people know, like, damn, it's only one other nigga that believe, we gonna put the work in, because it's not just us that believe. You believe, that's why you here. Born, who let us open the shop, he believe. You know what I'm saying? Like we said, we did that concert, and those people who showed up,
people who bought a ticket believe.
They all believe, and it was some other people who weren't there that believed too. Yeah. So it's just like, but that's that belief. Their belief started with our belief,
one soul at a time.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of. That would be the thing for sure too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Ain't that gonna be the name of one of our projects coming out soon?
Yeah. One soul at a time.
Yeah. It's coming, man. We got a lot of shit coming, bro.
Yeah. I was just finna ask what's next.
So we dropping a single called Hood Rich coming up. I don't got no date on it, but 2025. Like I said, we going back to the grassroots, bro. You're going to think it's 2001. You know what I'm saying? How we finna be out here on the streets promoting our records and shit. We kind of taking it back to the essence in that way. Should I let the cat out the bag? Don't tell them about the surprise, but we got a collaboration with some legendary artists, some people that's more famous than us. You know what I'm saying? That's from the town. What else, man? More merch probably coming. I know some clothes coming in the future.
Just more of the same, really.
But we got a lot of shit stacked, bro.
I think for us, it's like, because we weren't so consistent, it's just like the consistency is what's next. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just had those ups and downs where it's just like, no, we're just available now. I feel like it was
Liberty
times we
Show
weren't
too.
Available. So, yeah.
Yeah, we want to be more consistent on that, getting back under the podcast act, you know what I'm saying? Really doing that side of things as well. And like I said, we in the community. We ain't Hollywood, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Period.
We out here, so.
Any last thoughts you all want to share with the people?
Yeah, just keep listening. Like we said, support each other. We appreciate you, like you said, for supporting. Shout out to Born. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, peace to the guy, man.
Opening up the shop for us or whatever. And yeah, man, like we all we got, literally. So let's just keep doing this shit, like, because I'm not stopping. So.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't really even got too much to say. Like, keep God first. Just know the truth always outlive a lie. And anything is possible in no limit of time.
All right, well, I appreciate y'all brothers for asking me to do this with y'all.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you, bro.
Peace.
Peace.
Subscribe, like, follow, comment, all that shit.
Yeah. Pay your bills.
Right.